Hey guys, before we start the rebuild on the Isub coil, there are a few things that you're going to need. So I just want to show you very quickly. Obviously you're going to need the coil for an Isub tank. You're going to need some paper towel or toilet paper. You're going to want a good pair of scissors. You're going to need a thumbtack, organic cotton, and you're also going to need some water to burn the coil with. So I'm going to try to drop this down here for you. So, Isub coil, gunky, done. Been using that for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, which I must say is actually a pretty good time span for a coil when you're running sub-ohm. I'm normally running at about 50 watts, so they actually hold up pretty well. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our thumbtack. What you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to try to catch this wicking with the thumbtack and just kind of pull it out some, just to get it started. This is packed pretty tight, so it's going to be a bit of a chore to get it out. I did run into a couple of issues. I found that twisting as you're giving it a pull does loosen it up pretty good. We just want to avoid moving that coil. Oh, there we go. So you can see how gummy that cotton is, if I can get it to focus. Lots of sugars, high VG. That's what it does to your coil. So, next thing you're going to want to do is get a look. Just make sure that you get all the wicking out of there before you want to start dry firing it. Looks pretty good. Well, as good as a junked up coil can be. Next thing you're going to want to do is screw the coil directly into your mod. So what I'd like to do before I start firing that is get a little bit of our toilet paper, paper towel, and just wipe off as much. Oh, we got magnetic backs. Wipe off as much of that gunk as we can get out. So we're going to want to bring this down to, I'd say, about 20 to start. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Drop right down. So now this is where our water is going to come into play. This is how we're actually going to clean our coil. So bear with me here. So we're going to want to start firing this now. Just get rid of all that gunk. Let's try to get those coils heating up. Good, nice. So, most of the residue is kind of gone off this coil. What we're going to want to do now is we're going to fire it red hot, and we're going to dip just the coil tip into the water. Just like this. We'll do it again, red hot. Dip it in. Just the tip of the coil. Do that a couple times. So I'm going to set you back down here for a sec. Now what we're going to want to do, because there's still some water in here, is try to get all of that out. Check our ohms very quickly, if it'll focus on us here. Kind of hard to see, but it's coming in at 0.46, which is a pretty good spot for that coil. It's where we want it. Let's see how it looks now. You can see the canthal that's used is back to its silver. All that gunk is gone. And it's heating up pretty nice. I'm going to do one more real big light up on this and dunk it. That'll be the last one we do. Let's see it again. That canthal is brand new. Get all the water burnt off. You're going to notice too with the water on it, as you're dry firing it, it's going to take a few seconds for it to burn evenly from inside out, but it will. So, that's done. I'm going to put a little more touch of water in there to cool it off. And what we're going to do now is we're going to need our organic cotton. You're going to want to pack this pretty tight. So, the way we're going to do this, straight through one hole, straight through the coil, out the other side. So my wicking, I like to get a fair chunk in comparison here. It's pretty loose, so we're going to tighten it up. Start with the outside end, get that as tight as possible. Just keep rolling it and rolling it and rolling it. Just keep rolling it, just like that. So we're going to pierce it through one side, straight through the middle of the coil, and start to pull it through, just till I can feel the tension. Right about there. Coil's still perfectly centered, spacing still pretty good. So now we're just going to take our scissors and we're going to trim it off. Flip around to this side. Now I can show you how to wick it, but just like everything else, everybody's going to have their own, their own wicking methods. So I like to leave a fair little chunk. Pull that through just even on each side, just like that. Because we're going to actually push these through. So, next thing we're going to need is some juice. Let's get rid of all this. So what you're going to want to do is we're going to go back to our pin. And we're just going to fluff this up here. Get rid of any little junk pieces. Now we're going to stick the cotton, pushing it in through the hole. And you'll see what that does is it creates wicking on the inner part. Same as the stock coil was. So I'm just going to push it all in. Just like that. And we'll flip around to the other side. Just push it all. Get it in there nice and neat. Leaving just a little bit protruding. So So it looks something like that. It looks like there's a lot sticking out, guys, but there really isn't. It's just a little bit of feathering, which is going to help actually absorb the juice in anyway with a little bit sticking out. So just like the stock coils, what I'm going to do is run this directly through to create a bit of a juice well in the center to help it wick better. Just slowly roll it in. Pull it out. Oh, and then we'll do the top side. This is just creating a center hole, guys, for your juice to wick through. I started doing this on all coils recently, actually. So, looks something like that. So we're going to fire some juice into this bad boy. You definitely want to prime these very well. So I like to put a little in each hole, just a touch. A little on this side. You can almost see that hole, that well that we got in there. And we'll prime the top up here. Bear with me here for 1 sec, guys. So that is juiced up. We're going to crank up the watts here a little bit to around 36. I know that's hard to see, but what I'm trying to show you is what you don't see. Red coils. Perfect. That is how you rewick the Isub coils to reuse. I will rewick this probably a second time. I'll get I might even get 2 or 3 rewicks out of it, which gives you, a month to 2 months using this one coil with your sub tank, Isub tank, and it's great. It's an awesome little tank, affordable price, easy, the easiest rebuildable coils stock that I've had so far. There you go, guys. Easy as pie.